So hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. My name is Ingrid Valentine, and I am the Assistant Director for the Office of Award Pre-Proposal Support at RF CUNY. Welcome to today's session, which is intended for grant officers and their designated administrators who currently have access to administrative features not available to the regular user. Designated administrators are selected by grant officers. So if you joined us today, welcome. However, if you do not have administrative access and believe you should, you'll need to check in with your grants officer and they can review your request and approve it if appropriate. So what's on the agenda today? We're going to dive into the administrative tools that can enhance your research capacity and streamline access to funding opportunities across your campus. You'll see how to manage users, generate usage reports, deliver curated funding opportunities, publish newsletters, and even create grant portals. As a great example, I believe that Kevin will show the RF CUNY grant portal. This portal updates automatically with new solicitations and organizes opportunities by federal and non-federal agencies. I encourage you to reach out to the customer support team at support@grantforward.com for any assistance. If you'd like to visit any of today's topics or schedule additional training, they'll be happy to arrange one-on-one sessions or group training tailored to your needs. Also, you should have received an email from GrantForward with a link to the quick guide, which includes the features available to you and instructions on how to use them. I recommend keeping it handy as you explore your administrative tools. Now let's hear from Kevin Chang, founder, developer, and president of GrantForward, also known as Mr. GrantForward. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Ingrid, for the great introduction, which give a pretty big picture overview of how we will cover today. So we'll discuss GrantForward. You will be hearing from the authoritative person. I'm Mr. GrantForward. I'm going to show you how you can use GrantForward, and specifically as a grant administrator, as a research officer, use this service to find grants for your faculty, for your institution, to communicate, disseminate grant, and to direct the pre-award process. Okay, we thanks RF CUNY for organizing this webinar for all the community of CUNY. And as Ingrid just mentioned, there is a curated grant portal for all the CUNY institutions on the website of RF CUNY. This is a long link here, but if you go to RF CUNY, if you direct your faculty member to RF CUNY website, you will easily find this grant portal under the grant tab. Let me take you there. Okay, so this is the grant portal here. You come to RF CUNY, you will find under principal investigator, okay, and you will find the pre-award, and then you will find these resources for finding grants, and specifically, this is what Ingrid mentioned, with a pretty useful portal website that curate the list of grants that CUNY members might be interested, organized with federal grants, organized with these non-federal grant opportunities. This is automatically created through the grant portal capabilities that is provided by GrantForward through the collaboration of RF CUNY office and GrantForward. I will show in this webinar, you can also create such a portal for your specific institution so that you can provide your faculty members grant information for grants they might be interested in. We will discuss this in the dissemination part. Okay, good. So now let's dive into our discussion today, our demo today. So I like to show GrantForward by demonstrating specific use cases that you as a grant administrator, as a research development officer. Yeah. Okay. As a research development officer here, yeah. So you will find that these common capabilities that you may be useful for helping you in your grant related responsibility. So we talk about how to discover grants. Yeah, when you have a specific purpose, such as finding grants for your institution for capital grants for infrastructure improvement, or your faculty member ask you grants that can help them for their next project, you will be coming to GrantForward to do this grant discovery using its search interface with keyword, with filters, or with our AI query assistant. You can also search by recommendation for specific faculty member based on their profile, or based on the general interest of an academic department. After that, I will discuss how you can disseminate or communicate about grants, because as we learned, even though you provide the services, tools for your faculty members, they are busy or they don't have the time or the skill to look up grants, and many of them will rely on your help, and your communication dissemination is therefore crucial for keeping up their grant awareness, writing proposals. I will show you how you can curate the grants, select grants, share them to specific department or specific faculty member, or you can publish grant through newsletter or a web portal, the grant portal I just showed you earlier on RFCUNY website is an example. How you can help your faculty member to set up their profile, their specific grant recommendation, receiving grants that are tailored to their research interest. I will also show other parts of GrantForward, how it is useful in many of the strategic decisions that you need to make in the pre-award process, such as what sponsors are promising, okay, or how do I help faculty member to find the collaborators. If we have time, okay, we will also talk about the managing aspect. How do I add internal grant to the service, and how do I manage the service, such as users or usage statistic? Okay, good. Yeah. So let's get started. Yeah. So now let me come to GrantForward, give you a very quick overview of the website. So GrantForward is at grantforward.com. It's a website. Every member of the CUNY community, yourself, your faculty members, your student members, anyone who has a .cuny.edu email address can access it. Yeah. So most faculty members would access it through single sign-on. Okay. If we have integrated with your institution's single sign-on gateway, this is what you as administrators may want to do that. We do proactively ask every institution to integrate that. Yeah, and it's included in the service, no extra charge. Most CUNY institutions have already enabled the single sign-on. Okay, so let me demonstrate that. You can enter the CUNY email address. Okay, saying you want to log in. Let's see. And then it will direct you to the single sign-on process. Let me show you like this. Oh, I think I typed too quickly. Yeah, you will show the single sign-on, and then you will go, and then you will start the single sign-on process that you are familiar, and then take you back to GrantForward website. If your institution has not integrated the single sign-on with GrantForward, then your member will need to sign up with their CUNY email address. Okay. Yeah. Fill in this form, password, select their academic unit, because we want to know about every member's academic units. As you will see, GrantForward allow you to communicate with academic units in addition to each individual. Yeah. and then they tell GrantForward they are a student or a faculty member or a staff member. Yeah, GrantForward will tailor the account setting, the search profiles. Click on create my account, then they will receive an email. Make sure they check the spam folder, of course. It's just a normal sign on process, sign up, and then after that they can log in with their credential. Yes, yeah, but we do recommend if you have not discussed with us to integrate with a single sign on, okay, so that they don't have to remember additional credential. Yes, yeah. So yeah, so let me start so I will log in here.
Sorry, can I interrupt? What's the advantage of the single one sign up
or
sign on?
A single sign-on, yes, it's called SSO. Yeah, so many institutions, and I believe probably every institution in CUNY have this single sign-on. It simply is the process of, let me show you. Actually, I can demonstrate that with the institution I can log in. Yes, yeah.
Because we all have an account and we're joining the session because we have this administrative access. So we all have an account, but when I log in, I don't even see the one log on option. But if you say that most of the CUNY campuses have that anyhow, I just wanted to know what's the advantage between the regular check and login.
Yes, so first, what's your institution? What's your campus?
So the CUNY, the SSO is your @login.cuny.edu email address, the same thing you use to log into CUNY first.
Okay, actually, let me try that at CUNY.
It should be login.cuny.edu.
Oh, no one that then should log in like this.
Yeah.
Well, I think most of these accounts were set up before we started using the CUNY singles sign-on.
But the SSO is your login at cuny.edu.
So it should show this. If it does not, okay, I think it's like as you described, it should be logged in at the CUNY.edu. Yeah, and then you will see this, and then it will take you to go through the single sign-on process. So the advantage, as you specifically ask, the advantage is that they can then use your institution login process without having to use GrantForward. Okay, so that you probably already use that for many other electronic services on your campus. This will help your members to save one more login credential to remember.
Would you let Ingrid know which campuses have integrated that and which ones haven't? And this way we can work on it if we haven't.
Okay, sure. We will.
Thank you.
This list, we will contact each institution. Yeah. Okay. I'll take this on my note.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thanks.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So yeah. So if you have an account, no matter it's a single sign-on or not, or your own credential, yeah. So please, will encourage you to log in right now so you can actually follow along. We will go slow as we demonstrate, so that you can ask questions if you have any. Okay. Okay, so now I log in. Yeah, let's make it a bit slow today. You will see your name at the upper upper right corner. Click on it. It will show your specific institution. It should be your specific institution because every institution have say Brook, okay, or Bronx, okay. Every institution has your specific account you can manage. So you will see institution. I'm showing this because this is where GrantForward was originally developed. So we are still using this as our demo scenario. You will see your permission. Your permission may be a master administrator, which means you can manage everything on your campus, or an administrator, which means that you are in charge of certain academic unit. Okay, so you should all be some sort of administrator today because you are an administrator. The only difference is you will see this administrator console. Yeah, but this is a big difference for administrator. It has many capabilities, allow you to manage users, manage profiles, deliver grants, annotate the grants for your internal grant information, send the newsletters and other things I will explain. Okay, your students, your faculty members, they will see member here. Okay, they will not see this administrator console. Yes, yeah, but everything else would be the same, so that you can actually see what your users will experience on the GrantForward website, because this service is also used by all the members, not just by administrators. Okay, good. So yeah, and then GrantForward is organized by all these navigation menu. Each tab represents one specific kind of information, the related capability that is relevant in the pre-award, in the pursuit of award process. Grants is funding opportunity. We'll come here to search funding opportunities, call for proposals that your institution, your faculty members can apply, that you can announce to your faculty members, yeah, to apply for next project. Awards, this is funded project, okay, successfully funded project in the past, which is therefore a useful reference for you to dig into it to see funding trends, recent success from you or other institutions, fundable topics, and so on. Sponsor, this is where you can find out what sources of money are covered on GrantForward, not only federal, okay, but also state and private organizations, associations, foundations, companies. Yeah, researcher. The database of researcher GrantForward is not only a grant database, but also a database of faculty members, so that faculty members can here create their own profile to receive recommendation. Faculty members can also find collaborators, because to get the next project funded is not only about knowing about grant opportunities, but also about assemble a strong, research team with collaborators, with co-PI. Yeah, that's what they can do here. Yes, yeah. And the pre-solicitation, this is all kind of announcement, yeah, such as RFI request for information, okay, or notice of intent, okay, to publish. So any communication coming from sponsors, even before a solicitation or a call for proposal is finalized, is released. Yeah, so therefore, this tab provides you information about the future funding, for example, funding trend or any interaction with sponsors that will be relevant for the funding process. Okay, good. Yeah, so I also like to quickly show the home tab here. Yeah, the first part of the home tab is your communication. If you use it with your members, you may share with them newsletter, you may publish curated grant list. They will not only receive in emails, they will also see all the messages, communication archived here. But I want to highlight this middle section because, well, here we are dealing with a grant database, funding opportunities. You might be curious, how is this funding, this database updated? Okay, how frequent? What kind of money? Okay, yeah. So this is the big picture of the current status of the funding database. Okay, as you see, new sponsors or new sources of money, such as National Science Foundation, Russell Sage Foundation, okay, Gates Foundation, or Pediatric Association of USA. All these are possible funding sources. GrantForward constantly discover new funding sources, or we receive feedback from our expert users like you. They suggest new funding sources. New sources always pop up. Okay, such as a few days ago, this new source or this foundation, they are added. As soon as a funding database, a funding source enters our database, we will then start to monitor their grant announcement. Okay, And after we discover their grant announcement, we will go through, after going through editorial verification process. Yeah, they will be added to the grant database. They will start to show up in your search. Okay, so for example, a few hours ago, a grant from grant from Denmark, a grant from Swiss Climate Foundation. GrantForward does not cover only US, it covers the whole international landscape of funding. I will show you how you can search for international grants. Yeah, so new grants are added all the time. That's why you want to actually run your search, but save it, set it, so that you can receive alerts, notification when new grants are added. I will show you how to do that. Yeah, so then this is the distribution, the kind of grants that are indexed, covered by GrantForward. Yeah, so the red part, this is federal. Used to be actually more than 1/3, 35%, 40%. But as you also experience, we also clearly observe the funding landscape is changing. This part is shrinking. Okay, now it's 21%. Yeah, and then the green part is foundation. This is the private organizations, yeah, such as Russell Sage, such as Mellon Foundation. They become more and more important. The remaining about 1/3 would be all kinds of others, such as state, your New York State funding sources, department of something in the state or city government. Okay, professional societies and international constitute the remaining 1/3. Yeah, good. Yeah, so this is a quick overview of GrantForward, as well as how the grant database is created, is updated. Now we can zoom into our specific use cases that we like to introduce you. Okay, let's start with the most basic and probably the main reason most people are using GrantForward is to find the grants. You will be finding grants if your faculty member ask your help, okay, or if you have this responsibility of finding grants for your institution, so we can apply for the next renovation project, okay, or finding grants for specific academic department and announce that in the newsletter. Yeah, so we have a purpose for the next project. Finding grant is the beginning point. Yeah, so I will show you how you can use the search interface and then create your search, review grants, and curate your grant list. So now I come to GrantForward. I want to do grant search. Yeah. So I will come to grants. The grant tab gives you access to the grant database. A grant is a future funding opportunity. In contrast to award, award is a funded project. It's a history. Okay, grant is the future. It's a call for a proposal. So I want to search for grants. Okay, I will click on this. Yeah, this is the search interface here. You can search by keywords. You can also search by recommendation, which means search by specific individual or search by specific academic unit. I will start with the most basic. Yeah, but our purpose of search, grant discovery, is to find out that short list of grants that my faculty member may want to consider, okay, or my institution should focus on. Yes, yeah. So our purpose is to create a short list. I have many short lists here. This will be the result of our search. Okay, yeah. So, and this short list become the basis of my communication, my sharing, or my target of pursuit next. Okay, so now we will start our search. We often start with a purpose, with a description, with a few keywords, just like the way we Google every day. Yeah. So now this is audience participation. Anyone want to share with me some keywords that you want to search? Maybe your faculty member asked you to find some grant for certain topic. Yeah, so I'd like you to share with me some keywords you are thinking about recently, so I can use that as my demo scenario. You can just type, or you can unmute and tell me if I know how to spell. Yes, anyone? Do you have any suggestion?
How about aviation?
Aviation. Okay. Do you have anything specific about aviation or aviation in general? Or
In general.
okay. So let's type in aviation. So now I'm in keyword search. This means that I will search by topic. So I'll type aviation. I probably spell it right. Okay. Here, yeah. So you type in aviation here. You do a search. Yeah, you get 13 result. Yeah, you might be thinking today is my lucky day. I only need a few grants, 3, 5, to consider for my next project, but I get 13 of them. Well, actually, we want to get more because now we are only talking about topic. Okay, there you have other criteria you have not applied, such as the kind of activity you are looking for support. Okay, or the location restriction can you apply from New York or others. So at this step, we want to expand. And in fact, there are probably more grants, maybe a lot more grants, allow you to study aviation. Why? Because a grant that allow you to propose a specific idea in the scope of aviation, okay, may not use specifically this keyword. So yeah, so this is often the most difficult part in doing a search. What keyword should I use? And often this may come up, especially when any arbitrary faculty member tell you what topic they want to search, but we really don't know. I don't know anything about aviation. I only take a plane when I need to travel. Okay, yeah. So what keyword should I use? Yeah. So that's why GrantForward takes some time to read every grant, okay, and figure out how topics are related and make some suggestion. So when you ask aviation, you get 13. These are the results that mention aviation, okay, but well, a sponsor, often a call for proposal is pretty flexible in the scope. They may or may not use the specific keyword aviation. Okay, they may also be a broader scope, allow you to study aviation, such as in the transportation. So GrantForward will then suggest many of related keywords. Okay, you or your faculty member can decide if they are relevant. Will expert looking at this, could quickly see that these are relevant. Say it's avionics, okay, or unmanned area. Maybe this is the aspect they want to target, okay, or bio-inspired aircraft, okay, aerospace engineering. This also look very relevant. Flight risk analysis, okay, flight server optimization, flight testing. Yes, yeah. So the point here is that your faculty user, okay, you or your communication with them, yeah, they are the expert. They know specifically what they do. But it might be hard for them to think about all these keywords. So GrantForward will make a suggestion. Okay, they can select, and GrantForward will keep making more suggestions. So these are all done by AI reading many grants, but it's important that your user, you have control to see what keyword actually will be used. You will not simply arbitrarily expand your scope. So now you do a search. Yeah. So we get 14 results here, and let me see if I can expand more. And actually, I think I should remove some of the criteria. Now I see why. Yeah, because I have some criteria from. Let me reset my search here. Reset to default. Okay, yeah. So now my conditions are clean. Let me do it again. Earlier I have some additional filter. I'll explain how this filter used. Let me add more. Air transportation, solar powered, flight stability, flight risk, flight validation, aerospace, space engineering. Okay, so now we get a lot more, 275. Yeah, if you want, you can get more, or because they are really more. Yeah, if you know what keyword to use. Okay, now we get 316. So you notice that after you enter the keywords, after you select some additional keywords, you move all these keywords to any here. What this means is that these keywords are alternatives. They are not any one of them. Okay, is not absolutely required, but as more of them match, the better. So your user have control to see what could be considered. And if you want, you can also add some keyword. For example, if they definitely want to study something about airport, because this is aviation, they can add this here. This means that if a grant does not mention airport, okay, then you will not be listed. Okay, yeah. So now you see that this will significantly reduce the result to just 35. Or they can enter keywords. For example, if there is a lot of grants, if your user has already, or if you have already considered the aviation grant on the safety aspect, okay, then you can, in this round of search, you don't want to consider this, then you can add this to none. Okay, yeah. So now, okay, let me do this. Okay, in this example, we are looking for grants that contain all these alternative keywords: aviation, avionics, airport, transportation, and so on. Okay, and must contain this airport, but cannot contain safety. Yeah, so this all any none is pretty intuitive to use. Okay, yeah. And if you are feeling adventurous, and if you are a power user, you want to have absolute precise control, you can also click on the more operators. You can use all these Boolean operator, include, okay, say it must include the keyword aviation, it has a plus here, or the title, let's say I can use a field. The title must contain something. Let's say the title must contain, let me look for an example. Okay, the title must contain airport. Okay, yeah, you can do all this. So now, if you do search, is grant title contain airport. Yeah, so I'm saying that if you're feeling adventurous, there is always advanced mode, you can use it. But our experience indicated for most users, for most scenarios, this all any none plus the keyword suggestion, that is pretty sufficient. Okay, good. So now we have this number of results here. Each of them, as you can see, the keyword highlighted: aerial, system, unmanned area, okay, aerospace. They are all very relevant because we select all these keywords. We have control. But let me first introduce how to read each result. Okay, yeah. So each result has a title, tell you the gist of this grant. Okay, this is about some intelligent unmanned airplane kind of system. Below that, it has one or multiple sponsors, sources of money. This one is U.S. Army, certain unit, and U.S. Army, and two more sponsors. You can see the detail here. Yeah. So usually, the more significant grant, maybe there will be multiple sponsors jointly. Below that, it has a summary. Okay, this summary is actually generated by AI. Try to, in a few sentences, cover every key aspect. If you read it, it will tell you what the grant focus on, the key objective, okay, and who can apply. What will you do if you are funded? Yes, yeah. So it try to cover the key objective, the application, the applicant eligibility. Yeah. So you can, by a quick glance, you can see if this grant is something you want to dig into it. With keyword highlighted, you know how this grant is relevant to your search. Below that, it has a list of keywords or topics. For example, this grant is keywords, a topic about unmanned area. Okay, it's highlighted because we specify we want this in the query. It also has something about modeling and simulation. You also have something about aerodynamics. So these are not necessarily the keyword that are actually mentioned in the grant, but they are the topic that the GrantForward read the grant and identify. These are the topics that are in the scope covered by this grant. So that when you look at this, you know it not only is about unmanned aircraft, but also is about other things such as simulation, the physics aspect. So then this help your user to decide whether the overall scope match the purpose. Then you have the deadline here. Okay, the deadline here is a specific date, the future date the grant is due. Okay, sometimes there can be multiple deadline. Let me see if I can find an example on this page. Like this example, yeah. So this grant has multiple cycle. The next one is anticipated, meaning that it may come up, yeah. And this one is confirmed. Sometimes it has grant, it has a deadline for letter of intent, a deadline for final submission. You will see all of them here. Okay. Now, also below the grant description, you will see a few pictures. Okay. So these are researchers, PIs within your institution or outside of the institution who may be interested in this grant because of their researcher profile indicate a good matching. This will be useful for finding collaborators. We will come back here. Okay, yeah. So now you can, if you are interested in a grant, you can click on it title to read more about it. Yeah. So this is the information page about this grant. You will see the full description. Yeah, here you say this is original. This means that extracted, quoted as is from the grant announcement. Grant announcement, you can click on opportunity source to read about the original grant announcement, often containing more information such as Q&A or reference document. Yes, yeah, but GrantForward extract that original is the original statement extracted as is from the announcement. You can also look at the summarized. This is again summarized by AI. It's much more concise, usually more readable, organized, such as it gives you an overview, the main objective, okay, the key activities, okay, of this grant. Yeah, so you can decide what you prefer, and then it is more information such as the detailed list of sponsor. For any sponsor, okay, if you are not familiar, it will be useful to click on that. And it will take you to the sponsor tab, the sponsor database, to read more about the information of this sponsor. Or you can visit the sponsor website. This is an Army sponsor. You can see what this sponsor is about, what is their mission statement, what is their emphasis. This helps us to tailor our angle, our perspective of application. Okay, yeah, let me come back here. Yeah, it has more detailed description such as who can apply, the type of applicant, the location we can apply from. Sometimes a grant might be where you can apply from anywhere in US, or you can only apply from California. Yeah, that's why I want to know about that, and I will show you how you can use a filter to apply so that you see only grant you can apply from, say, New York. Okay, good. Yeah, and then it has the list of researchers from your institution, the more detail. I will come back here. Okay, good. So this is the result. Now we get the 315, this result here. Each of them looks like they are all relevant for our purpose about aviation, but they may or may not match your other criteria. Your criteria are not just topic. Okay, for example, this one is a scholarship. Maybe you are looking for research grants for faculty members' next research project. So this would be out of scope here. Yeah, that's why we want to use filters. And there are many filters that we have added. The administrators suggest they are useful to help us narrow down to the short list of grants we want to consider. You simply check each one of them, each one one by one, and if each one is relevant, you apply it. So I often start with grant type. Okay, if you are looking for grants for your graduate student, for your undergraduate, you can say, I want to look for fellowship. I want to look for internship. Now, all these aviation grants are all about fellowship. Okay, but if you are looking for grants, say you want to put on your newsletter about aviation grants in next month, so that you may not want to cover fellowship. You say, no, it's not about fellowship. It's not about internship. Yes, I want a research project. Training course, this means education project is also good. Okay, travel, I don't care. Workshop, conference, I don't care. Not for postdoc completion. Okay, and collaboration, cooperative, these are contract type of grant. Good, I want it. Equipment, these are capital grant. Others, I don't care. So you simply, and all the filters work in similar ways. You simply plus the kind that you want to see, minus the kind you don't want to see. Leave others, unchanged. We don't care about them. Yeah, so now these are all grants, and only 56 of them that match our research project or other kind of project. Yeah, that's why we actually want to get a bigger match in the beginning. You may want to go back to add more, okay, to add more other keywords if you want to say more, okay. Now we get slightly more here, yeah, okay, good. So this is about grant type. You can also look at grants, examine grants based on what kind of sources they come from. Okay, if you want to consider federal, for this topic, a lot of grants are federal. How about state? Do we have any grant from state government? Yes, 4 grants from state government. This is state of Florida, Space Florida, California, North Dakota. So you might be wondering, would they be so kind to allow us to apply from New York State? They may or they may not. Yeah, so that's why we want to introduce you another useful filter called the applicant location. This means where you will be applying from. So you say, if you click on the map bubble, you will actually fill in your specific location. But I want to demonstrate with New York. So I'll click on list. I click on New York State. We are from New York State today. So here. So now if a grant does not allow you to apply from this place, you will not be shown. And unfortunately, all the 4 grants, Florida, Louisiana, California, they are all gone. They are not so kind, but that's fine. We don't want to see grants. We cannot apply. So we will leave this filter on. Okay. So now we can also see professional society. Okay. These are society of certain domains such as maintenance, professional. Yeah. Yeah. So this is professional society. Foundations. Yeah. These are private organizations such as Earth and Space Foundation, HeartTalk Foundation. Companies, do we have any companies? Yes, we have company Vest, okay, NVIDIA, okay, yeah. Academic institution like yours, yeah. So other academic institutions may also have funding opportunities. Yes, yeah. So Transport Research Board and this National Academy, this is education. Yes, international. For this example, we don't have international. Yeah, but if I add more, let's say, add more keywords, see if I can see some international space. We do have an international Horizon Europe. So yeah, so GrantForward does cover international grants. Okay, good. Yeah, so if you want to review the kind of funding sources, you can go to the sponsor tab. Yeah, you can see sponsors from various category. We'll come back here if we have time, okay? But let me come back to the search. Yeah, so you can also use amount filter. You can use status. This status is also pretty useful. Yeah, so by default, the GrantForward only show you grants that are open, which means specific due date, like February 16, okay? Or continuous, which means they are always receiving application, first come, first reviewed. But for a specific topic, when you are not getting many of the current grants, okay, you may want to also look at the closed grants. This will include grants that are recently expired in the past 18 months. Why? So you can learn about recent funding trend. For example, you will learn that this National Aeronautics and Space Administration, okay, this actually NASA, okay, could be useful for this kind of grants. Or this one, Department of War is useful, or this. You may then go back, okay, you may then to search their grants specifically and monitor their grants in the future. They may demonstrate. So I learned from the past grant, this National Aeronautics is relevant. I may have others such as National Science Foundation, maybe also Gates Foundation. Russell Sage. I'm just entering some sponsor I know. Okay, so we see our user enter as many as 20, 30 sponsors that are relevant for the specific purpose, such as aviation. We saw our user enter 20 sponsors all about trauma because they are a trauma center. They even remove all the keywords. Why? Because in this case, they want to learn about every grant coming from all these favorite sponsors. Okay, in this case, no keyword. It's only by all these sponsors. Okay, there are 1,000 grants because we include big sources. Yeah, if I remove the say National Science Foundation, it will be a lot less. Yeah, then you can save your search. Okay, you can say this is my aviation grant search. Why do I want to save my search? Well, because then when I come back to GrantForward, I can search aviation again without having to redo all the criteria. I can just call out the save search and run it. Also because I want to receive alert. Earlier, I showed you that new grants constantly enter the grant database after they are discovered, verified. So now you can tell GrantForward, even I don't run my search again by hand, I want you to notify me if there are new grants that match my aviation purpose. So you can say, I want to be notified every month or every week. Let's say every week. Yeah. So now doing this, it tells you that next alert will be next Monday, February 09. Yeah, this is how you can get notification about grants. If you use only sponsor in your criteria, now you are monitoring any new grants coming from your favorite sponsors. If you also add keywords, we can do anything. Okay, now you are monitoring grant from a specific funding, a specific topic. Okay, good. Yeah, let me add let me remove my keywords so now I have too many here to show you. Yes, yeah. So these are the way these are how you can add all these keywords and then also filters. There are other filters that are specifically useful for administrators. For example, limited submission. Yeah, you may need to coordinate the grants that have some restrictions, such as how many proposals are allowed to come from your institution. So not too many applicants can be allowed. So you want to coordinate. You can look at this limited submission. Okay, yeah, let me uncheck the closed. Okay, so now there is one limited submission for our search now. Yeah, so if you decide that this grant is of interest to your faculty member, you may want to announce and also include the internal process for coordination. You can then add to I'm showing now how you can add to your grant list. I have many grant lists, short list. One of them is called the limited submission. So I add that. Later on, I may be able to publish a newsletter about limited submission using this grant list. Yeah, okay, yeah, so this is additional filters. There are also filters about applicant type and so on, similar. Okay, good. So now we have a good amount of grants that we can now examine one by one after we have applied keyword, okay, applied the filters. Now these grants are all possibly, suitable for my purpose. I can quickly examine each one, read the summary, skim the keywords. If I decide a grant is really relevant, I can store it into my short list. Okay, I add this to Professor Smith because he asked me for help about aviation grant. This list I'm going to share with him. I already have this list, so I update it. Or I can add a new list. Create a new list. Say this is my aviation grant. Okay, I'll give it a color so I can remember, I can differentiate it. I want to sort the grant when I view it by title. You can also sort by deadline, for example. Yeah, if a grant become expired in the future, remove it. Don't keep it on my grant list. Save it. Yeah, so now I've created a new list and added this grant. I can add a few more. Okay, aviation grant. I want to add a few more. I can show you how you can use this grant to communicate. Okay, good. Yeah, so as a result of our search, I have saved our search. the one I have saved is here, my aviation grant search. When I come back, I can always click on it to rerun my search. Okay, I have also I've also set it so it will deliver me alerts every week or every month, so I know about new results. Okay, I also have created my short list, this grant list. Now I want to show you why you want to create this short list and what can you do with that. I have multiple short lists because I do demo, and indeed there are different purposes. I have one short list with Professor Smith for our collaboration. Okay, I have one short list for limited submission that I want to announce, I want to publish, okay, in newsletter. I also have a short list of my aviation grants that I have just created today. Okay, I put all these on list. First, if any grant has any future change, such as change of deadline or some addition of reference material, you will be notified. Secondly, okay, you can view your grant on the list in the calendar view. Okay, so you can see, you can view specific grants on your calendar, so you have the timeline in mind. Okay, and you can share grants with others. You have a short list. You may want to share with Professor Smith. You can export this. Say I want to share aviation. I can export it. You can export to PDF. You can export to CSV. You select an attribute. You will generate. You can send Professor Smith an email attachment of the PDF. Or another very easy way is you can simply share a URL. Okay, so click on, let me show again, click on the URL button. When you are at a grant list, it will give you a specific website that GrantForward created, allowing you to share with your faculty member, your user. Okay, so now your member, when they come to your website, they will see the grants. Okay, if you add any new grant, okay, for example, let me go back to my search. If I add a new grant, this New York space grant, if I add it to my list, my aviation grant, okay, now it's added. The website that you shared with your faculty member, this list where this New York space grant is added. So yeah, so it's real time, it's synchronized. Good, yeah. So yeah, so this is from your using of keywords all the way to your curation of the result of the search list, of the grant list. So now this is how we do finding grants. Okay, there is another aspect about finding collaborators I will show you later. Okay, so this is our first use case. The next use case will we have a few slides here. The next use case is after you find the grants, okay, you may want to share these grants or communicate about these grants. Okay, you may want to deliver this grant to specific faculty PI. They ask about this grant, or you may want to publish this grant to specific academic departments, say a department of aerospace engineering, so they learn about all these aviation grants. How do I share and publish? This is the next use case here. So we already have our grant list. Yeah, so this is really the basis. Earlier, I showed you can share by exporting. Okay, you can share by a quick URL. Okay, this is what you can do. Your faculty member, any end user can also do this. But you as an administrator, you have more systematic and powerful tool to do this. That's why I want to show you. You come to the administrator console. Remember, you have this access to administrator console because you are an administrator. If you are not, you should be just ask us support@grantforward.com or ask Ingrid. They will add you as administrator. Okay. So now I want to do grant delivery. This means deliver grant such as a curated grant list about aviation to specific person or unit. I click on share a grant list. I want to share aviation grant. Okay, you can share this to the whole of your institution, such as Baruch College, okay? Or you can share with a specific unit, such as I want to share with the Department of Aerospace Engineering. So now this means any member whose department is aerospace engineering will receive your delivery, okay? Or you want to share with a specific person. I want to share with Professor Smith. Okay, the system has all your members, so it should be able to allow you to simply pick the specific Smith you want to communicate with. Yeah, we also provide a service, again included in the service, to pre-create account, so you will see all your members when you want to communicate like this. Share this. Okay, so now how does this mean? So I have decided to share my aviation grant, okay, to Professor Smith. You can click on add new to keep adding more professors or to add a specific unit. Say I also want to disseminate to aerospace engineering. Okay, so now this grant list about aviation is shared to aerospace engineering as well as Professor Smith. Maybe she's in a different department, but she will be interested in. Yeah, so this is about specific delivery. They will receive email, and they will also be able to see this on their home tab for the grant list you have shared with them. But other times you want to be more systematic. You may want to publish grant newsletter. So what is a grant newsletter? Let me find some example I can show you. Okay, so this is an example. Yeah, so many institutions, many colleges, they publish such grant newsletter. This one is December 10, 2026. I think there's some typo here. How can it be December 10? It should be 2025. Okay, yeah. And then, but this is a real newsletter of this institution. It's from the office of OVCR office. Yeah. Okay, it's a list of grants that you want to announce. So you may do this for the entire institution from your OVCR office, or you may do this for a specific department. Yeah, or you may do this for a group of interested PIs. So how do we do this? Yeah, you can do the newsletter here. Okay, the series. So yeah, so newsletter run in series. Okay, so newsletter run in series. So you will first create a series, such as a weekly series, a monthly series. Okay, this serves as a template. Okay, so let's say Baruch Ali, let's say aviation grant news weekly. So just a name, you can remember its purpose. Okay, I'm going to use this as my subject. This is the email subject line. The newsletter will appear. Okay, you can also add some variable. Okay, such as for let's say first name and last name. So this will now appear for a specific faculty. Okay, and you may also want to add the date. So these are all variable. This will show up when you publish it. It will show up February 04, 2026. So then they see this is up to date. Okay, this is just a template. Next, you decide how your newsletter will look like. Okay, yeah. So you click on load a boilerplate. You can copy paste any format, or you can use our built-in simple format. Yeah, select this one, load it. Okay, yeah. So let me say this is blue. Yeah, and then I don't need to show unit. I can do some editing here. This is aviation grant, the full date here. I want one section to be about, let's see, one section that is announcement. Yes, I want another section that is events. Now, I want a section that is maybe, let's say, limited submission. I want another section that is maybe federal grant. Let's see this. Let's say foundation grant. Yeah, I also want to do a little bit of graphic, so I can, let's see, use this one. Yeah, I simply find some graphic I want to insert. I find its URL. I save it. So now I'm entering Baruch College here. Yeah, so here I'm defining the template. It's pretty quick. Yeah, and you can also decide how each grant should be presented. Yeah, so you can say the title, you want it to be in red color. Okay, the red color. Yeah, you want the deadline to be highlighted. Yeah, you want to add any more information, you can look at the grant variable. You can add more information such as internal deadline or a short description or something else. Yeah, good. Yeah, so this is how you can control the format. Yeah, and this we are done here. So we have saved our series. So now it's today is Wednesday. You are going to publish your newsletter for Friday. You can come here. You have already curated your grant list. So now you are ready. You can say, I want to publish my series of grants about aviation from Baruch College. So everything you put on your template, the series has been filled in. Okay, you can make your announcement of happy February. Okay, anything, yeah, or announce any event. But now about grants, you can simply select a grant list and insert it. That's why we spend time to build up our grant short list. So I have a list about limited submission. I'm going to announce this. I'm going to order by deadline. Okay, I can insert more list. I want to insert my grant about aviation from foundation that I have just created. Yes, so my aviation grant. So you can see all the grants are inserted and now they are sorted by order. May 01, May 11, May 31st. You can also order them in different ways. You can modify this in any way you like. You can say this is description is too long. I can make it just da da da. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So you can do any modification. And in the end,
Sorry, real quick. You inserted the grants list by clicking on insert.
yes. You mean for inserting new grants?
Your grant list. You went to insert.
Oh yes. Yeah.
On top of that
Yes.
box. Okay. And oh, there, select the grant list. Oh, got it. Okay, great. Thanks.
You will see all the grant lists you have curated, prepared. You can insert multiple grant lists, and then you can edit them in any way, just like your email. You can just compose in any way, make any changes. Okay. You can save it and publish it. You can also do a preview. This is also pretty useful. Do a preview. You will see how it will look like on the email. It says Baruch College Aviation Grant Weekly for Professor John Doe. This will fill in the specific name. Okay, on this date, this is February 04. When you publish it on Friday, you will show February 06. Yeah, yeah. So and then the format here, the logo, the title, announcement, event, the limited submission. And then after that, we have foundation grant. This is all you have decided, all you have created. Now, this looks good. You can copy it. Okay, do anything you want. For example, you can copy it and send out from your, let's see, I can send out from my email, and this is my email. Yeah, so it will appear just like as I compose it, I can send out from my own Outlook example. I can also schedule it, close it. Okay, save newsletter and send. Okay, What will it do? It will ask you to set the recipient. I can say I want to send this to, again, this is similar to what we saw earlier. I want to send to aerospace. Okay, I can add more other departments, or I can add individuals. I want to CC myself. I want to set a time to publish. I want to publish Friday near the end of the day. People are in a very good mood. Okay, they'll give me good feedback, so I send it. Yeah, so this is how GrantForward now take this newsletter and save it, set a schedule. Okay, you will be sent according to your schedule. Okay, yes, yeah. So this is a newsletter. This is useful for proactively, systematically, regularly announce grants. However, there's another situation. People, PIs, when they think about their next project, they may come to your website, your grant office. They expect to find the next grant they can apply at your website, such as the CUNY example. The CUNY, let's see, where was it? Let me find the URL. Oh, it's actually here. Yeah, such as this web portal. Yeah, so you can also create a grant portal like this quite easily, again, based on your grant list. So each of these is either a grant list or actually an automatic search that at a real time when user visit the website, you will pull grant from GrantForward without you having to do it by hand. Okay, so how do you do that? This is the grant portal part. Yeah, so I want to show you how you can create a grant portal like this. Okay, so on this grant portal, you have different tabs, such as you announce foundation grants, you announce grants that are cross-cutting, you announce grants from NIH specifically. You can build each page here either by a grant list you have created, which I will show, or by simply setting a safe search. And every time when user click on it, you will pull the matching grant, such as about aviation, to the website in real time. Okay, let me add my aviation grant list here. Okay, it's pretty simple. You go to your website software, such as WordPress. You can use anything. Okay, I'm using WordPress only to demo the specific example. Okay, so you come to here. I say I want to add a page. Add a new page. Okay, let's say this is CUNY aviation grant. Yes, click on plus here. You will need to enter something from GrantForward. So GrantForward will connect with your website, and I'll come back to GrantForward. Okay, I'll come back to my grant delivery. I will find my aviation grant. Now I will use this embed. This means to add to your website. Okay, you can customize how it look like, but now let me not. Let me just copy it. Okay, this is the URL, the code I will add to here. That's it. So if you, then you can publish it. If you ask your IT to help, it only takes them 2 minutes. So don't need to buy them lunch. You are done with them. After that, okay, the grant will just appear here. Okay, if you add any new grants, okay, like I showed earlier, if you add any new grants to your list, you don't need to come back to your WordPress or whatever software. You don't need to call your IT again. The new grants will just appear. Or if you delete, update, say I don't want this New York space, I can simply come back to my GrantForward. I come to my grant list as usual. I say this is my aviation grant list here. I want to remove this New York space grant. I simply exit out. Okay, so the next user who visit the website, okay, let me refresh it. The New York space grant is now gone. Okay, so yeah, so the website will be updated by itself. You simply link it in the beginning, then you are done. Okay, good. So I have just shown you I've just shown you how you can share publish grants, share to specific faculty member or department, or publish a newsletter in email or create a grant portal. But now, next, you have thousands of faculty members, PI in your institution. Well, they want to know about what grants they can apply. You cannot possibly do this for every single member. Okay, yeah, so that's why recommendation could be very useful. It will automatically generate an individualized newsletter recommendation, as it is called. Let me show. Yeah, so this is an example of a recommendation. Yeah, so this recommendation is just an email. This email will be delivered to user who ask for it. So you can help your faculty member to set up. You will come to the user weekly, monthly, or even daily. They can set. Okay, this may look like a typical newsletter announcing new grants, maybe from National Science Foundation. Yeah, maybe from your office. You also publish a newsletter. But this is different from newsletter in two ways. First, it has a specific recipient. It's not a broadcast to everyone in the department, everyone in the institution. So it's individualized. It has a recipient, the PI. Second, because it's individualized, therefore each grant description, the grant summary, not only has the general description, but also many keywords such as information processing, data processing, artificial intelligence, big data, data sharing, artificial intelligence. Again, these keywords explain to the user why each grant is considered relevant. Each of these keywords is a topic that match the researcher's research interest on their profile. I will show you what a profile looks like. Yeah, but this explains to the user quite intuitively why each grant is relevant. They will not think they are being spent. Yeah, and in addition, even if the PI is not actively looking for next project grants yet, okay, they may want to learn about the general funding trends, what topics around their research agenda interest areas are being sought after. Yeah, that's why these are useful here. You can see the keyword highlighted. These are actually funding topic. Yeah, therefore, this information about funding trend, this become a pretty popular capability. Monthly, we send out about 150,000 such emails. Okay, yeah, so to receive such email, they simply need to set up their profile or create their profile and then enable this recommendation setting. Let me show you what a profile look like. So you can come to the researcher tab. This researcher tab are all the profiles here. Okay, so I may as well first introduce how you can use this profile search here. Yeah, so you can search profile. You can search profiles by interest keywords. Okay, for example, I want to learn about anyone who is interested. Let me first use within my institution. So here you will see within my institution and external. Okay, so now within my institution, I want to find the people who are interested in aviation. So I enter aviation here. Again, it suggests many related keywords such as aerospace, okay, such as robotics, such as aircraft, such as simulation. Yeah, so then it will show you faculty members whose profile, and these are all pre-populated. It probably includes many of your faculty members already, and if not, you can always request us to pre-populate more faculty members. Yeah, so by the search here, this return faculty whose interests include the keyword you search, such as aerospace, aircraft, or simulation. Yeah, so you can look into each profile. So this is an example profile. This is pre-populated, automatically pre-populated by our AI. It contains all the basic info. It has the information like the department affiliation, okay, the homepage. This is where we actually collect the information, the data from. If you click on this, in this example, it's collecting from an online website that describe these faculty PI's information. It can possibly come from multiple websites if they are relevant, but GrantForward does all these tedious data collection work to pre-populate a profile. This is department, the biography, okay? If any other information, you will see many keywords here. You quickly realize this PI is about vehicle, about control, about adaptive control, about aerial robotics, and so on. It's because of all these keywords that we are able to identify this faculty is related to aviation, that she may be interested in anything about aircraft. These keywords are automatically tagged, identified from her scholarly work, which means publications. We carefully collect the publication that belong to this faculty member or her awards. Yeah, if there are awards from our award database, it will be shown here. Yeah, so with all this is what a profile look like. I will come back to how to search collaborators, but here it shows you how a profile looks like. You as an administrator, you can edit any profile, but faculty member, they can simply, they want to create their own profile for receiving recommendation. They come to researcher under my profile. It's still loading. It's a bit slow. Yes, still loading. Yeah, so this is my profile. If they have not claimed a profile, they will see a button to claim their profile. Okay, they can also, if there is no pre-populated profile for them, they will see another button. They can request a profile, okay, to be pre-populated, and after that they can claim it, okay, or they can simply build it from scratch. But in most cases, they will have a pre-populated profile. They simply claim it. They will this is the profile of this account. They can then edit this profile, go through the editing interface. They can upload their CV. They can specify some websites to pull data from. Okay, yeah, they can update this to make sure that their profile is accurate. Yeah, they can add more publication, for example. And after they have their profile, they can now set their recommendation. Recommendation is about grant. They can come to the recommendation here. Okay, this is a recommendation. They can say, I want to receive recommendation every month, every week, or every day. They can add more keywords because the keywords on their profile are about their research. They may want to learn more keywords for their future research. For example, this faculty is interested in aviation, but he may want to learn about AI as well. So I can he may want to know about how AI has anything to do for aviation. So they can simply click on this to add more keywords. Yeah, and then save it. Say that I want to talk about, let's say, ChatGPT. Yeah. So yeah, so even though they have not done any work, they can add keywords. They can revise keywords. So their recommendation will be based on their current interest or future interest. Save this. Yeah. They can also add a filter to make sure their recommendation is more precise. For example, this account owner says that I only want to be recommended if it's more than about 500,000. Now, the recommendation will become much more precise with all these filters. Okay, good. Yeah, so I have shown you how you can enable recommendation. Yeah, so now, given that we look like we have only 10 minutes, I want to show you one useful capability. It's about finding collaborators. This is about the strategic information. I'm going about specifically about collaborator. Okay, how do I do that? Come here. Okay, there are two ways you can find the collaborators. One is in the context of a specific grant. Okay, if you find any grant, okay, you may want to see which PI might be interested in learning about this grant that I should notify. Or if a user search this, they want to know who can I collaborate. So GrantForward tells you this information. So below each grant, you will see a list of researchers who may be interested because of their profile. And outside of CUNY, Yeah, outside of your institution, which a much bigger number. You can click on the title, go to the specific page. You can say, I want to share this grant to specific researcher who may be interested in this grant. Okay, for example, this Professor Sally, he's interested in design and the structure. Maybe he will be interested in this aviation grant. I say, yes, yeah. This one is about aerospace. Yes, yeah. So you can select the researcher you want to share grants, and then you can share to the selected researcher. They will receive your grant notification here. Your user can also use this to connect with other researchers. Okay, and you can, this is the first way, is in the context of a specific grant. The second way, you can search PI or search collaborators in a more systematic way. You can come to our researcher database. Consider this is the database of all researchers within your institution or across from other institutions. Yeah, so you can search, as I just showed earlier, you can search by research topic. You can also search by academic position, such as only professor, or if you want to look for younger junior faculty who may be more eager to look for money, yeah, these are junior faculty. You can also search by specific department. For example, I want to search from anyone from engineering, from the system where auto-complete, say from aerospace engineering. Yes, these are people from aerospace engineering. You can also look at people outside of your institution. Yeah, so these are people, and it's a very big number. Of course, this is from all US institutions that we have indexed, about 450, 500 of them. We are still expanding, yeah. But you can narrow down, say I'm in New York, I want to search for New York State. Yeah, so these are people who are interested in aviation, but from New York, such as Cornell, okay, such as RPI, such as NYU. Yes, yeah. You can also add specific university, such as, can I find any City College of, yeah, so these are from CUNY, City College. Yeah, you can add a specific, yeah. So this is how you can find the researchers and communicate them, or your faculty member can find collaborators systematically. Okay, good. Yeah, we have a long agenda, but I think I covered these very important use cases about the discovery grants, dissemination, communication, recommendation, and finally finding collaborators. Yeah, I want to stop here. I talk too much, I talk too quick. I'm happy we still have 5 minutes. So if you have any question, I'm happy to answer that. You can just unmute and ask question. Do we have more question? Okay, so if you don't have more question, I will show you one bonus topic, which I personally think is very useful. Okay, your faculty member might come to ask you, I'm interested in this next project, this call for proposal for aviation, but I'm not sure if my topic is fundable. Okay, well, you can direct them to award search, do their business intelligence. Award means funded project. A lot of them, how many? 5 followed by 6 digit, 5.5 million. Okay, these are project funded in major sponsors who publish their funding records in the past 20 years. So you can search, anyone talk about aviation, okay, you get a big number, of course. This is a big database. All these grants are about aviation. You can sort them by beginning date. Say this is February 01. Yeah, so this is fairly new, okay? Actually just a few days ago. Yeah, it's about rapid response and so on. So you can read each grant, especially the abstract. This is like a mini proposal. Reading a few of these, okay, an expert could quickly figure out what topics sponsors are looking for. Yeah, they can also narrow their search by organization. Say, I want to find anyone in New York. University. So I can collaborate with the PI. Yeah, so these are people who are in New York University, State University of New York, NYU. Yeah, so I can connect with all these PI for possible collaboration. Yeah, this is another useful feature you can use. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So if you don't have more question, last call. Okay. If you have more question, you can ask. We are happy to work with you anytime. Okay. Yes. What's the question here? This might be too specific. Do you mean your division is in the selection or not in? Or if it's okay. If you didn't see that, yeah, just write to support at GrantForward.com. We may have missed your institution, or your administrator may not give us include that. Yeah, so if you send this, okay, yeah, we will include. Yeah, so these are a few ways you can actually ask for help like this. Yeah, so you can contact us, or you can request one-on-one support session. Okay, because you mentioned academic unit, I also want to mention something I forgot to mention. Is in grant search, the recommendation tab I didn't explain. You as administrator can search grant for specific faculty member. Okay, or see, I can search grant for Professor Hager here. Yeah, it will take some time. You will search for grants that this professor based on his interest keyword. You see, he's interested in crop, interested in weed, or grant about him. You can also search by any academic unit. I want to search grants for aviation, no, aerospace. This is probably why you asked to search aviation in the first place, but you actually can just search by the department because GrantForward has collected the profiles of all the faculty PI. Now, based on all their collective profile, GrantForward will identify the kind of aviation grants your specific aerospace department will be interested in. Yeah, so here, these are all the grants matching this department. It's about material. It's about deformation. It's about mechanics. Yeah. So this is another useful way to search by academic unit or by individual if you are looking for grants matching these entities. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your using the lunch time to learn about GrantForward. Yeah, and I hope you find this useful. If you have more questions, we are very happy to help. Just contact us. Yeah. Have a good day. Yeah, and then have a good weekend. It's coming. And we'll send the recording and follow up after this meeting. Thank you.